when I was doing the Storm Beetle series, because each of those videos were basically focused on particular techniques and not the model, I didn't really say a whole lot about the model. I mean, at the end of the videos, I would say, yeah, this is a great model, and recommend it, but I didn't say a whole lot about it. And my intent all along had been to do a vlog for patrons to talk specifically about the kit itself. So that's what I'm going to do here, because a few of you have asked me what I thought of the model in general, so I want to cover that. Now, from an assembly standpoint, this is a great model kit. It's designed to be push fit, as I understand it. It seems like it was designed to be push fit, but I would definitely recommend gluing it. One's because there's a few areas that you're going to want to deal with the seams that are on it. There's not too many to deal with, and the ones that are there are fairly easy to deal with. The primary areas where you're going to have some seams are where the legs join together, and those are fairly easy to fill and sand. Or if you prefer, you can scribe in a panel line and, present it that way. Where these parts right here join together, there's going to be a little bit of a seam. In fact, if you look kind of close right here on this side where my thumb is, you can see a ghost seam formed. That actually formed quite a while after I had filled it, and I just decided to leave it be. I wasn't too worried about it. You see where these areas that I scribed are, that's where two parts glue together. The way it fit, it seemed like it was supposed to be one flush unit, but I thought it would look better to turn it into a panel line, so I got my scriber out and turned that into a panel line. Other than that, no problems at all. And like I said, if you just wanted to scribe panel lines in the legs are just tedious. You fill them in, once you get one of them done, you've got 8 other sections to do, because each leg is composed of 2 pieces. Some on the feet, but nothing difficult to deal with. You do have to be careful. I found this out almost the hard way. You do have to be careful about test fitting it, because the parts fit so snugly in some areas that if you test fit it all the way, you probably ain't getting it apart without doing some major surgery. One area in particular to note is this canopy piece. It's a single clear piece that snaps up from underneath, and you got to use some force to get it up in there. They have instructions in. They tell you in the instructions how to do it. Unfortunately, it's in Japanese, so you have to get your little Google Translate app out on the phone to kind of read it. But basically, if you push it up towards the front, if you notch it in at the front and then kind of wedge it up from the back to snap it in, it goes in place. Not easily. It goes in place. I would recommend doing it very carefully. Use your thumb. Don't use any kind of tool to try and do it. Use your thumb or your finger so that it's fully supporting that in there, because I was just sure that I was going to crack that when I put it in there. You could probably trim some things back to make the fit a little easier, but it's definitely one of those areas that don't test fit it. When you're ready to put it in, when everything's painted on the interior and you're ready to put it in, go ahead and put it in. But don't test it out ahead of time or you might be in trouble. Now, I did leave like this front piece off and these front armor pieces and the gun during assembly. And I also left the legs off. Now, the legs just fit on with poly caps, so they can move back and forth a little bit, and it's a fairly tight fit. There's some articulation here at the knee joint. Here at, I guess you'd call the hip, it's fixed. So if you want to pose it, you kind of have to do that ahead of time. They set the angle in there. If I can't remember if it was with a little notched piece or something, but the angle is pretty much set during assembly by the way the parts are laid out. But you could, with some modification, get this posed any way you wanted, especially if you were going to put it in a diorama. but there is some limited articulation. I don't think it's meant to be articulated like a gunpla, where you're putting it in different poses. I think it's more of, okay, you can move these around so that you can get it sitting on level ground, looking even, and you'll be good to go. There's very little detail on the interior, as I showed in the first 2 episodes of the series. But as I talked about there, you really can't see much of anything in there. In fact, I kind of did myself no favor by, I thought I'd be clever and have the pilot looking off to the side so it would, look a little more than just sitting straight ahead. And the way I've got his head positioned now, he's looking right into the area that you can't see. So you can't see really anything. If you get right up close, you can kind of see the color of the uniform and the seat belts and the color of the helmet. And that's about it. You can kind of see some of the color on the inside, but most of that was lost. And I knew it would be. I knew when I was doing that video about scratch building that none of that would be seen. But I have no complaints about the kit at all. It's just an outstanding kit. And if you've never built Maschinen Krieger, if you've never done sci-fi, this would be a good one to start on. It's not difficult, not too many parts, good detail, and it's just a really, really fun kit. Plenty of opportunities to weather it. Lots that you can do with it in terms of color. You could add stuff onto it. I had thought about getting really adventuresome and adding like a big, one of those World War II style rocket launchers that they would mount on the top of like a Sherman tank, with just all the tubes of rockets. I thought that would have looked really cool up here, and then I thought, that's not you, John. I try not to get too ambitious with stuff like that, but it's a really good kit. It's 1/35th scale. I guess that would be my only complaint about it, is that it's 1/35th scale. Not that there's anything wrong with that scale, but I just think it would have been so much more fun in 1/20th scale. There is a resin version of this that you can get, and it's like $229. It's in 1/20th scale. So, there's that out there, but the detailing on this is really good. The panel lines are good. I read a few complaints that the transition between this upper and lower part right here was not faithful to the original. I don't think Koyokoyama did this design. I think it was somebody else with his approval. And they said that there wasn't that overhang on the original. I don't know. I've never seen it. And some people complained about that, but I looked at it and I thought, well, I like it. I think it looks cool. It makes sense to me from a design perspective. I did have to put some Mr. Surfacer where those two joined together, and then use the alcohol on a Q-tip to clean it up, just because there was enough of if you flipped it over, you could see just a little bit of a gap there. And but just filling it in with that, I didn't even sand it down, just filling it in, blocked it off, and that's all it needed. There, and you can see I broke off one of the little things and made it like it had been damaged. You got some wires hanging down there. So this is just a really, really nice kit, and it's the first one from, I think it's Kaiyodo. They've got several names on the box, and I don't know which one is the name of the company. I've been calling it Kaiyodo, I think is what I've been calling it, but that's what HobbyLink Japan listed it as, so that's what I went with. But this is kit number 0001, or 001. Anyway, I'm hopeful that they're going to have more of these coming out, even if it's in 1/35th scale, because it just promotes the genre. They're great kits. They seem to be designing these really well, based on this example. So I'm really looking forward to what else they have coming out, because there are actually a lot of Maschinen Krieger designs that are inspired by Koyokoyama, but it's other people doing their own take on it. And some of those he has approved as, I guess you'd say, canon, and they've been coming out as resin kits. So I'm hoping to see more and more of those coming out through these plastic kits, which are a lot more affordable. But I really liked it. Really good build. Really nothing to complain about at all. I mean, not that I look for things to complain about in a kit, but most kits you can say, well, you need to watch out for this or that. But other than a few seam lines and being careful with the canopy piece, this is a really, really nice model. And I probably won't, but if I were just building for my own self and not having to worry about videos and things like that, I would likely build more than one of these because it's just that much fun. So I highly recommend it.